What's up to Lion Talk Live? So we love you too, buddy.
What's going on, guys? It is Aiden Hutchinson.
What's up, everybody? It's Calvin Johnson Jr. here, a.k.a. Megatron, a.k.a. First Ballot.
What's up, man? It's your boy Amon-Ra St. Brown.
Greetings and salutations to everyone out there in YouTube land. This is Dan Skipper, offensive weapon for the Detroit Lions. Make sure you all help support Lions Talk Live, Coach Dan, by clicking on that like and subscribe button. Everybody, woo!
I love nothing more than watching Lions Talk Live every morning. Woo!
Woo!
Well, greetings and salutations to everybody out there in YouTube land. I am your host, once again, Dan Thornton. Hey, want to thank you all for joining us here today. Lions Talk Live. And if you're a Detroit Lions fan, you know what? You might be feeling a certain way today after, Benedict Johnson and the Chicago Bears threw away the playoff game against the LA Rams. Matty Stafford's going back to the NFC Championship. You can have your own opinion about it, but if you're a Lions fan, you're probably feeling pretty dang good about the fact the Bears couldn't get out of their own way. We're going to talk about that to a certain degree. More importantly today, there's going to be a whole lot of questions. Now that the playoffs are more or less over, you're down to the final four teams. What can we ascertain about where the Detroit Lions finish the year, what you're seeing in the playoffs? How far do we have to really go to get there, get back to the NFC title game, and then, yes, make a trip to the Super Bowl? We're going to analyze the facts as presented, and we're going to get into that momentarily during the main topic today. Before we do that, though, you probably already know by now, we're going to get into 5 glorious headlines now. Also, before we get into that, if you haven't yet subscribed to Lions Talk Live, please consider doing so. We're roughly, we'll say, 65 subs away from hitting 16,200. I had to do the math in my head. So if you can hit that sub button, I would be thankful. Also, if you have a free second in time, reach on over, hit the thumbs up button, the like button, hit all the buttons. We try to get every episode of the show between 200, 300, 400 more. Thumbs up or likes. Last, never least, if you are considering buying property anywhere in the great state of Michigan where I reside, I can personally work with you or for you, go ahead and give me a call or shoot me a text. You see the number on your screen, 269-998-2384. We can have a quick conversation. What I can do to save you time, hassle, money, the whole shebang-a-bang. If you're outside of the state of Michigan, I can still help you out. Just got to do things a little bit differently. Go ahead and give me a call. You see the number on your screen. All right, with all that done, settled away, hey, it is a phenomenal day to see the Ben Johnson and the Chicago Bears fall. We'll get into that during the comment section, but before we do that, let's get into 5 headlines now. 1, 2, 3. Let's get the show rocking and going. Oh, sometimes those crazy buttons, you know what? They have a little bit of delay on them. All right, first headline here. What should the Detroit Lions do with key 2026 free agents? You decide. Marlo Alter of the Detroit Free Press is penning this question article for you, so let's get into it. We got a whole lot of free agents, and when you watch the playoffs, let's keep that in mind. These are the best teams out there. We're not that far off of them, in my view, with these Detroit Lions free agents. Let's see what you guys have to say. Kyle Allen, he's going to be 30, or he is 30. Do you bring him back? Somebody already knows the system, the backup to JG, Jared Goff, unless I guess you're going to do something with Goff this offseason. I don't think that's going to happen, but let me know your thoughts in the comments section. Khalif the Freak Raymond, hey, he does a whole lot of things for this team. Punt return, kick return, wide receiver. He's 32. He still has some wheels. Do you bring him back? Do you trust him enough? My question would be, and just throwing this at you guys, it's not in the article, but when you look at Detroit's top 3 wide receivers, in my opinion, it is Tesla, it is St. Brown, it is Jameson Williams. Where does Khalif fit in with that group? Especially when you listen to the other wide receivers talk about Dominic Lovett. Dominic Lovett, for those who don't know, St. Brown thinks very highly of. Jameson Williams came out and talked about, this is about a week or so ago, maybe I should have done a video on it, but they think this kid's got real potential. We all know he's got speed. He's got some size. He just has to develop his hands, route mechanics, etc. Do you bring back Khalif Raymond, or do you just say we're going to give those additional snaps to Dominic Levick? Let me know. Zane Zylstra, you already know if you watch this show for any length of time, I don't think he blocks well, but he does get open on pass catches. He is 29 years old. How about Yodi, 27? He did not have a great year. I think most of us would agree. Should probably never really be a starting NFL guard. That being said, he was thrown into the mix from time to time because of the injuries, especially to Christian Mahogany. DJ Reader, he's 32. Started all 17 games. Remember, when we signed him, the big bugaboo about DJ Reader was that he just couldn't stay healthy. He had a couple straight years where it just ended because of injury. He had a fair year, not a great year, but he wasn't bad at all. He had 29 total tackles, no sacks this year, playing 53% of the defensive snaps. Would you bring him back if the price is right? Levi Onwuzurike, hard to believe he's 28 already. Missed the entire season after resigning a 1 year, $3.5 million deal. We found out, or the team didn't know, that he had a torn ACL. He didn't know he had a torn ACL. That says a lot about the strength of that guy, especially in his lower body and his legs. Do you bring him back maybe on a team-friendly deal? This next one, I'm going to guess everybody's going to say, bring that man back. That'd be Roy Lopez. Hey, guy collected 30 tackles with 2 sacks in 17 games, coming off the bench, playing 39% of defensive snaps. If they brought him back, I'm assuming, but I don't know, that everybody's going to be happy. Alaquan Muhammad, 31. We all know he had a breakout year, 11 sacks. We all know when he was on big time in games. We all also probably know when he wasn't on, he was a no-show in those games. So he was really hit or miss in games. Josh Pascal, 26. We all know his story. Didn't play a dime this year. I don't think that's anything against him as a person. I just think he was going through some personal stuff, although that's never really been truly confirmed. I'm going to assume this would be the lightning rod topic that could burn down Brad Holmes' house if he was resigned. And that's Marcus Davenport, 29 years old, did play 55% of the defensive snaps in the games he was out there. Had 1 sack, 14 tackles in 8 games, 7 starts. That's not a career high, but it is a high in the last maybe quarter to half a decade for him. Alex Anzalone, 31 years old, favorite son of Detroit, still got a lot of gas in the tank. I won't be surprised they try to bring him back, but can they bring him back? That'll be the big question. Malcolm Rodriguez is next on this list. 27 years old. After recovering from an ACL injury, he returned to play in 7 games, recording 12 tackles. Not a great showing for him by any stretch, but I think we all get when we saw him out prior to the ACL injury, he is fully capable of being a starting NFL linebacker. Now can he bring him back? Grant Stewart, another one on that list, 27 as well. Amik Robinson, 2 years ago, his first year in Detroit, he played phenomenal. Last year, maybe because he had to move around to different positions in the secondary, was not phenomenal by any stretch of the imagination. Raquel Singh, he is 30, the number 34 overall pick in the 2019 draft. Had some ups, had some downs, making 47 tackles in 17 games with 6 starts, forced in the lineup due to a rash of injuries. Allowed just a 74.7 passer rating and 51.9 completion percentage. Those aren't bad numbers by any stretch, especially if he's not locked up against the other team's number 1 wide receiver. I think if you do that, he plays even better. Daniel Thomas is 28. Avonte Maddox is 30. Avonte Maddox, I would not be surprised if they brought back some other unrestricted free agents. I know we've talked about these guys lightly. Jamarco Jones, if you think Taylor Decker is going to retire, I would not be surprised. Lions made it a priority to resign Jamarco Jones. My personal opinion was he was the best offensive lineman coming off the bench. Yeah, he had a messed up knee. I think if he would have came in, you would have had more stability at the line. Maybe, just maybe, the Lions would have made the playoffs with him, although that's speculation on my part. Zach Cunningham and Ezekiel Turner, I think the Turner just doesn't do enough. That's my personal opinion. Don't let it affect yours. While Zach Cunningham, I've said before, he is a starting level NFL linebacker if you can get him back. All right, went on too long with that one. Let's get to these 5 headlines now. The next one here, 5 NFL draft prospects, the Lions to watch from Indiana, Miami, titled Game Story by Dave Burkett of the Detroit Free Press. Hey, we're in draft mode at this point. We're in free agency mode. Let's power through this one because it kind of went long with the last one. How about Ruben Brown Jr., the defensive end from Miami? We've all been talking about for some time. Lions need to get somebody opposite Aiden Hutchinson. He would fill in a lot of needs with this team. He can get to the quarterback. He is a terror on the line. Now, how much will that translate to the NFL level? I think the vast majority of it. But, hey, you guys have your opinion on that for sure. Hakeem Mesidor, defensive end Miami. So talking about Miami a lot here. They've got a defense. They've got athletes. They've got guys who probably chew bubble gum and spit out nails, however you wanted to word it. They're built a certain way. What I like about him, Hakeem, I think he fits the Lions' desires for a defensive end. 6'3", 280 pounds. He's just exactly what they want in their system. Somebody who can stop the run first while getting to the quarterback. I think that would be an ideal fit. He did have, 10.5 sacks and forced 4 fumbles this year, so not a bad pickup there. How about Pat Colleen, the center from Indiana? We all know the Lions need a center, and if you're not going to address it in free agency, this might be the place to go. My personal opinion, he needs to bulk up a little bit more. I mean, not that he's small by any stretch of the imagination at 6'5" and roughly 310 pounds, but I think for what the Lions want out of their centers, he probably would want it or be asked to put on about 10 or 15 more pounds. How about Carter Smith, the offensive tackle from Indiana? Again, if Taylor Decker is going to be out of here, you're probably going to have to really invest in the line. We all know that going into free agency in the draft. Check him out. And then I'm going to murder this last name. Zachary Poser, the safety from Miami. What I like about him is his range. And if we have any kind of questions about Kirby Joseph, then you know what? This would be an ideal pickup. I don't think it's where the Lions going to go. I think the Lions in free agency will try to address the safety position and then maybe round 4 and down, pick up somebody that can be groomed or developed. Although you do have Dan Jackson, who was injured this past year. He does have a lot of athleticism and a lot of range. Somebody just doesn't have a lot of experience in safety. And obviously he missed all last year, so he's not going to have gained any experience. All right, NFC notes. Amon-Ra St. Brown, Isaac Tesla, Zach Tom, Lions, Packers, NFL trade rumors by Wyatt Grindley. So not going to spend a ton of time on this one. They do break down some interviews. Excuse me, man. Still have to clear my throat all the time from the cold. With St. Brown and Tesla. With it goes to Tesla, there was a recent interview with Dan Campbell and Brad Holmes, to be fair, where they both said basically carbon copy comment about Tesla. They felt he was the most developed rookie, most improved player on the team this year. Talked swimmingly about all the potential he brings. And I can only say this. I agree with him. You can't teach size, you can't teach athleticism, and you can't teach desire. Something I learned long ago in coaching. And with this guy, here's what I'd say. I think the Lions hit on a lot of their draft picks this past draft. I think Tesla is just the one that's shown up the most. Ratledge, I think, is going to be pretty good. I think Tyreek Williams is going to be pretty good. Flip a coin on Miles Frazier. I think the potential's all there. You already heard me talk about Dominic Lovett, but I think with just talking about Tesla here, it's hard to see where he would hurt any NFL team because he is roughly 6'4". He is fast as heck. He can out jump everybody on the field to go get the ball. He makes phenomenal catches, and he's got the desire to really get physical with people. Let that sink in, because we all know most NFL wide receivers do not want to mix it up in the run game blocking assignments. They don't enjoy the pounding it takes on their body and how it can mitigate their potential put up stats. Tesla appears to do all that and seems to enjoy it quite heavily. He didn't have the biggest rookie season statistically, but he did have 16 receptions for, we'll just say 239 yards, 6 touchdowns. All he does is catch touchdowns. When it comes to Amon-Ra St. Brown, reporters asked him yesterday about what it means basically to miss the playoffs. And, I'm not going to read through his entire quote, but going to paraphrase here. He thinks this will be some rocket fuel for the team to really try to develop, try to continue to increase. He does not say anything about the Lions, pulling back, getting complacent, but he does say that the Lions need to refocus and try to improve and get back in the playoffs and obviously contention for the NFC North. All right, next one here. Going to have a little fun with this one. Caleb Williams makes the best throw of his life, and then he threw the Bears season away. NBC Sports. just because I knew going into the day there would be a lot of people in the Dude Crew that would, hey, they'd be cheering. And yesterday was almost like a Super Bowl win for us, the fact that the Bears lost. Most of you know, but if you don't, I'll educate you. I'm a USC fan, so I've watched Caleb Williams for some time now. I think yesterday was basically amalgamation of Caleb Williams. You saw some phenomenal plays, especially that fourth down touchdown pass where he's backpedaling. He's got 50 dudes in his face. He just lofts it up there perfectly. You see, if you watched him for any length of time, you see all the promise with the kid, and then you see the turnovers yesterday, especially the game clincher, I guess you can more or less say, or it's just, inaccuracy, wrong foot placement. Of course, he didn't have any foot placement on the fourth down touchdown pass, but that's the I think what Ben Johnson, the Chicago Bears are going to have to continue to work on with this guy. If you're a Lions fan, you're absolutely enjoying the fact that, you know what, they ain't going to the NFC title game. They ain't going to the Super Bowl. Ben Johnson, Caleb Williams, and anybody else you want to mention for the Chicago Bears, they're sitting right next to you at the Circle K getting that delicious morning Mountain Dew and Roller Grill hot dog. All right, last of 5 headlines now. Fact or fiction? Did Detroit Lions players lose their grittiness? Question mark. Detroit Lions and SI, story by Johnny Macarone. Everybody's going to have different opinions on this, and there's no right answer. There's no wrong answer. It's simply a question that's being thrown out there. The Lions this year, in your opinion, did they get complacent? Did they lose some of their panache, their cojones? Did they get soft? I can only throw this a thought at you because there's in this article by Johnny Mac, there's not really an answer. It's just a bunch of questions that you as an individual have to answer. My personal opinion, you lost your offensive line, and to a degree, you lost the ability to stop the run on the defensive line. Those two things, I think, tanked your season. My personal opinion, not mentioned by Johnny Mac, I think the Lions may be the most skilled, deadly team on offense in the NFL. And in my personal opinion, I don't think it's close. You've got so many offensive weapons, but if you can't run the ball and you can't pass block, and let's face it, Lions might not have been last place in the NFL in run blocking or pass blocking, but they're pretty dang close. The fact that St. Brown, Gibbs, Tesla, Jameson Williams, Dave Montgomery, whoever else you want to list, put up any kind of numbers, I think is really a credit and proves just how good they are on that side of the ball. Because most teams won't do much without an offensive line. Defensively, we all get it. The Lions had every opportunity the last 6 games to win some more games, make the playoffs, but because they couldn't stop the run, they got ran over on defense. What was there? Something like 3 or 4 straight weeks we gave up over 500 yards of offense to the other team. So my opinion, that's where the grittiness was won or lost. If they can fix those two things this next offseason or this current offseason, then you know what? I do think the Lions are probably going to get back to being at a 11, 12, whatever it may be, win team and get their grittiness back. All right, with all that done, out of the way, let's go ahead and get over to the main top of the day. And sorry if I have to keep clearing my throat. Part of getting over the sickness is that, hey, you got to do those things. 1, 2, 3, main topic of the day. Still having issues with the buttons, but hey, it is what it is. All right, main topic of the day. Is this, true or false? Is it right or wrong? Is it indifferent? You've now watched basically the bulk of the NFL playoffs. You've seen all the teams out there. At this point, you know who the players are and who, more importantly, is not a player at this point. When you look at the Lions staff, when you look at the Lions roster, how far off, in your opinion, are they? We had a bit of a conversation yesterday. Could have made it the main top of the day. And let's start with Jared Goff. I know there is a segment of the Lions fan base that want him shown the door, want him out of there. And then you look at, Josh Allen over in Buffalo. If Jared Goff turned the ball over 20 times in a game, there is probably the vast majority of the Lions fan base that would ask for him to be unmercifully beheaded. We also know Bills fans are actually supporting him. Can we say this? Is this true? Jared Goff is a quarterback that can get this franchise to playoffs. There's no right answer. There's no wrong answer. Only your answer. My opinion, for whatever it's worth, I think if you have the right parts around him, he absolutely can do it. But in my opinion, he is probably 80% of the best quarterbacks in the NFL. You've got to have the right system and the right tools around him for that to be an effective quarterback. There are really, in my view, only 2 or 3 quarterbacks that you can put them in any offensive system, any kind of offensive line, and they're going to be fairly competent. Most are going to need the right materials around them. Goff, what I will say, we already talked about how porous the offensive line was this year. Still look at Goff's numbers. There's no consistent running game, and yet he's still almost a 4,500-yard passer, completed nearly 70% of his passes, only threw something like 7 or 8 picks this year. What the gluttony of touchdowns. And let's also be fair, second straight year, there really wasn't a defense in Detroit. So what do you have to do? You had to make the most out of what he got. Is this true? The Lions defense is the biggest weakness on this team. If it's not them, is it the offensive line? Starting with the offensive line, we know Penei Sewell is perhaps the greatest offensive lineman any of us have seen in a Detroit Lions uniform. Let that sink in, because there have been some damn good ones out there. I'm not saying he is the best, but he's in the conversation to be amongst the best in Detroit Lions history. Now apply that to the NFL. Whenever his career is done, can we say he is a top 10 offensive lineman of all time? Top 5? Top 20. So with that piece alone on the offense line, we know we're good there. What can we do with the other spots? There's, again, give me your views, because I can only tell you my view. That's a heck of a place to start. When it comes to the defense, how far off is the defense from being a top 10 or an impactful defense if Branch and Kirby come back? Now, that's a big if with Kirby, because there are a lot of factors we don't know about that knee right now. Brian Branch, I do think he'll be back next year. I do think there's some potential. It's September. Who knows, man? Maybe he's back for training camp. Achilles injuries aren't what they once were. They have made so many medical advancements with the recovery process and different. I'm not going to go into it. I'm not a medical doctor. I'm not that kind of doctor. But they made so many advancements how they can help that body heal quicker, or that ligament heal quicker. I think there's some potential. If he comes back, that gives you a lot of flexibility to the defense. We get it. Jack the Hammer Campbell, if he's not the best linebacker in the league, he's in a real short list. Aiden Hudson, I know there's still people that think that we shouldn't have paid him. I have your own opinion. I just think this. He is one of the top 5 defensive ends in the NFL right now. He may not be number 1, but he's pretty dang good. How much better will this team be if they hit on a few draft picks or the right free agent signings to address the offensive and defensive line? So is this true? Your Detroit Lions, when you look across the NFL this year, this current playoff system, you can say you fix the defensive line, you fix the offensive line, they're in the top 4 in the NFL. There's no wrong answers here, just your answers here. All right, and you can go on with each of the positional groups for the Detroit Lions. I'm not going to waste your all time with that. It's been a while since we've really been able to get through the comments section, so I'm going to focus on that since I can actually talk again without feeling like I'm chewing on glass or something. So I'm going to head over to the Duke Crew comment section, see what you guys have to say. But one last thing I'll throw at you. Which was better for you? Finishing the regular season with a huge win against the Chicago Bears, sweeping the Bears, the first place team in the NFC. Hey, Lions, all they do is sweep Bears. Or was it better than the Bears lost yesterday in the playoffs? Let me know your thoughts, because, hey, we're all going to have different views on that. Michael, good morning, Duke Crew and Coach Dan, and back at you, my friend. Shamir, take your shirt off, Ben. The rest Johnson. Yes, he got shown the door, didn't he? Bo, good morning, Duke Crew. Woo! Stafford, that's the last time I do that. Might be true. Some people will be rooting against him for sure the rest of the way here. We'll see what shakes out. Trey, what's good, everybody? Question mark. Some good games yesterday, even better that the Bears lost. Yeah, I knew that was going to be a hot topic today. Shamir, he lost in the same round he made us lose in last year. There's some truth. I mean, that is true. There's not some truth. It's very true to that. Different circumstances, and I'm not going to make this part of the show, but we all get it. There's some questions about whether or not Ben Johnson a year ago, maybe even to say Aaron Glenn, were fully prepared for that Washington game. Jess couldn't have been any happier when Caleb threw that interception! Exclamation! Yeah, the one in OT. Yeah, I got you there. Jameer, see where his arrogance got him? Might be accurate. Drake, Bears turned it over too much. Caleb had 3 picks or something like that. How about them Bears? Not to make this a Caleb Williams show, but I think that's where he's at in his career. And who knows? Maybe this is just who he is. For me as a USC fan, yesterday was very, very familiar. he is fully capable of making every throw on planet Earth on a football field. He's also fully capable of throwing that ball away in some really questionable circumstances. Now come sit on the bench. We saved you some room. Hey, very kind of you. David laughing. Dennis, good morning. Dan Duku, what an exciting finish last night. Exclamation point. Now time to focus on getting back there. 100%. Yes, let's get back into the playoffs. I almost feel like we won. You probably do have some similar feelings there. David, Seattle is the only team I've watched where I could say that they are better than the Lions. I'd say that's probably true. Every other team I feel like we could have won or lost against. To be fair, as not excitingly well as the season went for us, could we have beat Philly? Absolutely. Could we have beat the Rams? Absolutely. The Packers, yes. Bears, hey, we swept the Bears. We get that. And you could probably say the same thing for the Bills or anybody in the AFC as well. All right, France, I hear Ben Johnson telling his team, quote, this might have been our only chance, end quote, after the game. Might be true. Jameer, he just knew he was bringing Chicago a championship. Nope, not this year. Yeah, not this year indeed. Jess, how much better does this season feel now? Question mark. We finished the season beating Chicago, and now the Bears laterally? How about literally threw the game away to end their season? Yes, indeed, for sure. Pierce, where is Broski Bear? Man, will we see him today? I don't know. Somebody might want to put a sports betting line on that one. Pierce, man, did Benedict Johnson look a lot like Dan Campbell last night? He did indeed. You could see, hey, there's some similarities there. Bo, I haven't watched Seattle. I wonder how it feels to be up on an injury-riddled team. Hey, in the playoffs, man, just win, baby, in advance, and they did just that, didn't they? All right, Michael, I was thinking the same thing about Broski. Yeah, I don't see him. I mean, he's a Bears fan. I get it. And while he throws a lot of shade at times, and sometimes he does it subtly at the Lions, he's probably not wanting that noise today from Lions fans. Where is Broski? Good question is a good question. Big Eddie Broski is gone into hibernation for 6 months. Could be true. Pierce Benedict got way too cute as per usual and 6 fourth down tries. Hey, he kept on trying. The same stuff Broski said about MCDC being reckless. Benedict, the Snake Johnson, did all that last night. Again, some similarities there, and I wonder how Broski and all Bears fans are feeling about the fourth down plays. I couldn't wait to get up this morning and catch the show. I'm glad you're here as always, my friend. One of the OG members of the Duke crew, by the way. Let's see, Pierce, but it's okay when Benedict does it. Probably true. David, greetings, Sanitations, Coach Dan of the Duke crew. Woo! Back at you, Xavier. Greetings, Sanitations, Coach Dan of the Duke crew. I hope everyone has a blessed day with an exclamation point. Until then, Broski Bear won't be around again until the draft. Yeah, that could be true. Or free agency, maybe somewhere around there. Susan, Ben can. Oh boy, he might be grabbing stuff. Yes, Tilla. Bears going to hibernation during the cold. They did just that, man. Sort of like their fourth down play calling. But Booth, I think Ben Johnson knew his only chance to win was to do what he did last year. Next year with a first place schedule, it will be different. Like it will be for every NFL team, right? It's hard to be consistently good or winning in the NFL. And I know there's going to be a bunch of people say the Lions didn't live up to the expectations this year. You still finished with a winning schedule, a winning record. I get we didn't make the playoffs, but we're as good a team that didn't make the playoffs as anybody out there. I think we will rebound fairly nicely next year. Susan, he'll be around watching the show, but won't comment. That's probably accurate for sure. Vincent, good morning, Coach Dan and the Duke crew. Exclamation point, back at you. Until then, the luck had to run out eventually. You can't play bad teams with backup quarterbacks and expect the same in the playoffs. Yeah, 100%. You know, just to use the Lions versus Bears schedules and the difference from first place and fourth place schedules, think of like the Ravens. How'd the Lions look against the Ravens? How'd the Bears look? And you could go through play by play. I do understand the Lions, lost in Philly where the Bears didn't. So, maybe come to a different conclusion on things. Pat, good morning, Duke crew. Same to you. Conan, it's a good day to be a Lions fan. Yes, indeed it is. Sure. Last week, Ben was screaming FTP. I wonder how Packers fans feeling today. Oh, just like us, cuteness overload. Yeah, Ben, he's made a name for himself as a coach, and I don't think it was well received. I know Sean McVay, when asked about reporters, because apparently him and Matt LaFleur are pretty close friends, he did kind of smile, Cheshire cat grin and say, hey, LaFleur and I are pretty good friends, but it was a good game yesterday. Just Bears, obviously on the wrong side of the scoreboard. Till Caleb lost his favorite target, Loveland, like Goff did with Laporta, and became average. Yes, amazing how you take one or two key weapons away from a quarterback. They look vastly different. You took Laporta away from Goff. I think there was an adjustment period. Now, with that being said, I do think, Goff did, to his credit, mature, use other weapons, got more and more comfortable. But for a while in the season, for about 2 or 3 weeks, I thought there was a notable difference, to your point, Attila, in how Goff was performing. The other part we have already mentioned 50 times on the show is the offensive line for Detroit. Bears got an offensive line, but it is aging, and you know what? They might be facing some similar challenges next year like the Lions did this year. Ben Johnson made it to the divisional round while we didn't make it, so who won? It's a good question. And the only thing I can say at this point, they didn't win the Super Bowl. We didn't win a Super Bowl. We got the 17 pick, and they didn't. All right, Trevor, it's a great day to be a Lions fan. I like the way you're thinking. Xavier, yes, Chicago got beat last night. Exclamation point. It was a great game, though. It was a very good game. I mean, to be fair, outside the Seattle 49ers game, most of the NFL playoffs have been, really good to watch games. Any more? Good morning, Coach Dan, the Duke Crew. What a team. What a podcast. Exclamation point. What a time to be a Lions fan. Woo! Good to see you, my friend. Feels like it's been a couple days. Jen, good morning, all, and happy Bears lost day. Yes, indeed. Neither one of us, because we both still not going to the big dance. Yeah, 100%. I mean, you feel good that they're not going because we didn't go, but I think at the end of the day, we all want to be there. Five fingers ready. A lot of crying after the game by Bills fans. The same thing that cost them that pick wasn't a pick this game. NFL officiating, I mean, that could be almost like a 4-week episode of this show. It's just not consistent. And to your point, what's the Bears game? I thought it was a different game yesterday. But anyways, I know the play you're talking about. It's exactly, in my view, the same play as what led to the turnover for the Denver Broncos against the Bills. And that's the problem. Two people can view the same thing and see vastly different stuff. And I know we were talking about yesterday where my problem is NFL officials, from New York call down the field and say, hey, you got that wrong. You need to fix it. They do that on when they want to. They don't do it on other plays. That's my problem with the officiating. If you can clearly see that's something the officials missed and it's going to change the game, why isn't New York calling down to say, hey, we need to step in here and correct that? We can do that on a wink Goff touchdown, but we can't do it on other times. I'm not sure why there's a bias. Henry Moore, my apologies for not being here yesterday. Overslept. Hey, sometimes we do that. Bo, I couldn't watch the game last night, so I tuned into Tom Grossi. I learned more about Star Wars than the Bears or Rams. That game must have been boring. Hey, two people like it, two people don't. K Long, stay warm, all cold here. Yeah, very cold. I know all the schools around me where I'm located in Southwest Michigan, they're closed because of wind chill advisories. Stephanie, what do you got there? Good morning, boys. Exclamation point. So glad Ben got his Johnson in that game. Go Lions. Hey, hope you're having a good one and stay warm. But meanwhile, back in Lions Land, hey, good place to be, Lions Land. Xavier, it was great watching Bears lose, I'm assuming. Yes, I concur. Shamir, oh, yeah, he won a trip to Cancun with us. Hey, we'll keep the seats warm. Trim Reaper, what up, Coach Dan, the Mighty Duke Crew? Exclamation point. Let's go, Lions. Woo! And back at you, Jen. The difference between Lions versus everyone else, that miracle catch by Komet would have been offensive pass interference. Lions have lost because of officials. Yes, we have. Xavier, lost, though? Yes, indeed, with an exclamation point. Hookadoo. Good morning, Duke Crew. One Prime. Well, the better team won last night, and it wasn't the Bears. Bend over, went all the way home. He might have indeed. Shamir, he should have kicked field goals and stayed humble. How about that? Lauren, good morning, Duke Crew. Great day because the Bears lost last night. A lot of Bears fans crying in their morning cereal this morning or maybe in their food last night. David, after watching the games this weekend, the NFL has consistency issues to fix with the officiating. I got to imagine many of the national pundits or shows will be talking about that today because I know somebody pointed out in the comments section, you have the Bills losing, at least the way I looked at it, on a guy who caught it, was touched down, and I thought clearly touched down, and then it became an interception. Same thing yesterday. I didn't think it was the Bears game, but maybe I'm just wrong with that. But the same thing, and it was not an interception. So I don't know. Tori, one step closer to free agents here. Correct, Bo? There he is. Exclamation point. Pat, Couldn't agree more, David. Detroit, man. Detroit D, man. We haven't seen you in a hot second. Good to see you, my friend. Good morning, Duke Crew. Back at you. Dennis, good morning, Troy. Hope we pick up 1 or 2 good players in free agency to fill some holes. My personal opinion, and I worked on it a little bit this weekend, but I'll have my mock draft, 2.0 or whatever, and I'll include free agency in it to set up the mock draft. But I think the Lions are going to get 3 key free agents. Doesn't mean they're going to be home run hitters or anything like that, but I think they're going to be real solid additions to the team. Bo, good morning, Bo Booth and Hookadoo from Lauren. Steve Rogers, hit that like and sub, folks. Thank you for that very much. Detroit, it's just me. That happy to see Bears take the L. I think we're all, Detroit, happy to see the Bears take the L. Drew, good morning, Coach Dan, the Duke Crew. Exclamation point. Coach, I hope you're feeling better. I am. Yeah, vastly. Although I have to clear my throat a lot. Hopefully we get a new OC this week. I hope so too. Amy, good morning, Coach Dan, and our dedicated Duke Crew. Exclamation point. Hope everyone was pleased with yesterday's results. I'm guessing most were. Good morning, Henry, Bo, Johnny, Lauren. Oh yeah, Shamir. Now it's time to get Linderbaum and Mike McDaniels. If we get both of those, man, this is already a good offseason. Detroit D, it is make or break year for Brad Holmes this offseason. I think to your point, it is for Brad and Dan. I think they've got to have a real good rebound year. Now, you'll have to quantify what real good year is. They get back to the playoffs. They make it to the divisional round. They make it to the NFC title game. I don't know. Well, Sheila's the only one who can answer that. Amy, please remember to push those buttons with some exclamation points. Thank you for that. Gun Guy, Broski, time to take your feeding. We'll see if we see him. Hey, more. Good morning, Hookadoo, Amy, and Bo. Gun Guy, Goff made Ben Johnson. There could be more evidence of that. Mary Smith, good morning, Duke Crew. If y'all have to go outside, please be careful. Yeah, don't stay outside very long. I know the wife was mentioning it to one of her clients. Imagine being a dog that has to stay outside, or a cat, or just a homeless person out this cold. At least where we're located, it is nasty cold out. Good guy. Bears can't beat Lions quarterbacks, in your opinion? Might be true. Easy. Stanford next. Might be. Yep. No. You sound better, Coach. I do feel better. Other than I have to keep clearing my throat from time to time. Hookadoo. Great morning, Jen. David. If Holmes doesn't take some chances this season, he'll be the hit list. He might be on the hit list for sure. I think he's aware of the situation. Maybe I'm wrong. Bo, Coach lost his Randy Savage voice. Exclamation point. Too true. Hey, more. Good morning, Queen Mary, Tori, Jen, and Reaper. All right, easy. Flu risk is very high right now. Yeah, and I know there's a lot of places around here that have been affected by it. And hey, I got it too for a while. Gladly, it's over. Hookadoo, Queen Mary, great morning. Michael, oh, wait, it's chilly morning, 33 degrees in Florida this morning. I heard Florida is getting snow. It's that cold around here. Let's see, David, and down in Florida too. David, who are you rooting for tonight, Miami or Indiana? You know what? I'm just going to hope for a good game. How about that? Vincent, Stafford about to get his second ring. That's a possibility too. Rick, the Bears. Yeah, the Bears are out of here. Jen, good Ben Johnson lost morning. Henry Moore, might be true. Queen Mary, good morning, Henry Hookadoo. Motown Mitch, we will all see with our own eyes. Bears and Packers are frauds. Lions get healthy, add a piece or two. They win it all. Get some O-line and cornerbacks. Grab over the NFL. Yeah, I think game over for the NFL indeed, if we can do just that. Fix the offensive line, beef up the defensive line. I personally would like some better cornerback play or a little bit more size, although I've mentioned this before. I do think the Lions secondary overall is much better than people realize, because, again, when you have to give the other team 4, 3, 5, 29 seconds to throw, you're asking those corners to cover for a long period of time. All right, Trim River, good morning, Henry. Dennis, Stafford going to have a tough time next week. Yeah, that's going to be a good matchup. In Seattle, if they blow out that game, man, you have to think they're the odds-on favorite to win it all. Same old soup. Good morning, Coach Dan, the Duke Crew. Back at you. Queen Mary, good morning, Trim. Amy, Coach Dan, you sound much better today. Yay! Exclamation point. I feel better today. Other than, again, I have to keep clearing my throat. Vincent, Khalif can walk? Might be. CD3 balled out yesterday. He did, David. Hey, and glad for him. I know he's not a Lion. He chose a different team over us. I'm still happy for the guy because, he played well when he was here, and he just chose to do a bigger contract with somebody else. Trimmer, all hail the Lions Talk Live Queens. I like the way you're thinking. Easy, Pats versus Seahawks. Could be. Randy Parsons, does Mike McDaniel and Dan Campbell have any former coaching tree ties in the NFL? Question mark. They share a common philosophy. Do they have a common NFL connection? I know they both speak, and prior to McDaniels getting out of Miami, they both talk very well about each other, have a lot of respect for each other. Whether or not they have any kind of ties from the past, I don't know offhand. Easy. Imagine being a Broncos fan after that QB injury. Yeah, man. Talk about win, but you're deflated. Good morning, Trim. You're on Troll Patrol today. Yeah, Troll Patrol. Attila, need to draft a 6'5", 250+ pound receiver tight end? Maybe they do. Detroit D, Bills got robbed. NFL is becoming a joke. Yeah, and to your point, and I know we've already talked about the show, but how is that any different than what we saw yesterday? I don't know. Gun guy, Broski, what happened? We'll find out. Unfortunate for Denver. Very, very, David. Very unfortunate. Lauren, we're going to do Troll Patrol indeed. Let's see, Thomas. The Johnson last night absolutely lost the game for Chicago. 3 times going for it and on 4th down in field goal range and not getting it, leave 9 points off the board. You're correct. The Johnson's Eagle lost that game, Justice. Yeah, there'll be, I'm sure, all Chicago sports talk last night, today, probably for days, maybe a week, are going to be after him about that. David, AA needs to be on his team. Yeah, let's see if we can keep him. Vincent, can we get a corner taller than 5'8"? My personal opinion, Vincent, is that you're going to have to do that, especially if Shep is going to stay as the DC, keep mixing in more zone coverage. I think you want to get bigger. I know my last mock draft, I had us taking a 6'4" player, and I want to say 2 6'2", 6'3" corners. And that's just my opinion. It doesn't have to be yours. Thomas, triple slap the like, y'all. I thank you for that. Trim Reaper, can't believe the Lions haven't made an offer on to Linderbaum already. Can't until free agency. Yeah, nobody can legally. Easy. Think that would be tampering. It would be tampering. Queen Mary, I can say Ben Johnson attitude was much better taking loss. Hey, how about that? Vincent E, free agency isn't open yet. No, not officially. Let's see. How many interceptions did Campbell throw yesterday? 3 or 4. I want to say 3, but let me do that. I wasn't keeping track. Kim, need to let players go that cannot stay healthy. Need to get Decker's replacement regardless of his decision. He's worn out. I think so. I think his body has given us everything he can. I have nothing but respect for the guy, but Father Time is undefeated. David, lots of moves coming this week. Could be. See, answer 14. Hey, haven't seen you on the show in a while, my friend. Greetings, salutations, Coach Daniel Ducro. All-season question abound. Let's hope for a solid free agency in the draft class in 26. It will be interesting seeing how Brad manages the franchise, finances. How about that? Yeah, there'll be big questions. How many contracts are you going to restructure? How much money is he going to free up? Where does he invest that money? Mary, he didn't throw his headset this time. Laughing out loud. Shows you how much he wanted to beat the Lions. Yes, he wanted to beat it. I'm sure he didn't want to lose to Dan Campbell and the Lions again. He didn't want to see the Lions get right against them. Unfortunately, he's going to wait until next year to get another shot. Hey, easy. Heard the draft didn't have a lot of good centers this year. Yeah, depending on who you ask, sounds like the top-rated center is about a third-round pick. Thomas, if for some reason I don't think Decker will retire, does Moosewood to left tackle on draft or free agent right tackle? We could already have one in Frazier. Do not forget, the big question, do they have what they feel is their left tackle or right tackle in Manu or Frazier? It would be interesting to see what the Lions do this offseason, because if they don't make moves for those 2 spots in free agency of the draft, they feel like they got the guy in-house. Or I guess you could throw Jamarco Jones in there. Kerry, Ben pulled the shirt off so the Bears can feed. Broski, if your arrogant coach had gone for 2, you'd be at the dance. You'd taken field goals, you would have won. Might be true. Easy. Dan would have went for the 2-point win. Probably very, very true. David, I like Jackson pick. Ready? Jackson, yeah. He doesn't have experience. To be fair to the kid, he played in college and played at a high level, but only had 1 year of starting experience before getting into the NFL. We'll see what they get with him. I just don't know enough to say if he's good or bad. I think it's incomplete at this point. So, sir, just check in. Good morning, coach and everyone. Back at you, my friend. Hopefully you're having a good day. Kerry, had you had a QB as accurate Zaz? All right. See, Thomas, Kerry, 100%. The Johnson's ego got in the way. Kicked 3 field goals early. Bears win. Absolutely moronic. How about that? Byron, I wouldn't mind if the Lions paid the Ravens center 18 to 19 million a year to be our center next season. I can only speak for this. I think he's going to get 25-ish a year, maybe a little bit less, but somewhere in that range. To your point, Byron, if we get him, I'm imagining 1,000% of Lions fans will consider that a off-season Super Bowl win. Trim Reaper, funny how the Bears weren't tampering when Lions were still alive in the playoffs last year. Different rules for coaches. If your team's in the playoffs, you can interview for an upgrade position. So in this case, a head coaching job, and there's not a penalty. So, player rules are different. Queen Mary, the part Hookadoo, he wanted to beat Detroit so badly, was talking a lot of trash about the Lions, and it bit him in the butt. Yes, it bit him in the butt indeed. Vincent, how do you have a wrench? You get a wrench if you are a moderator on the show, or mod, however you want to term it. Marion, and I'm hoping the Lions can offer Mike a contract he can't refuse after all he did his interviews. Yeah, he's come out and said, and I know he had a show about it a couple days ago, he came out and said many of the head coaching jobs, Mike McDaniel, aren't interesting to him because they're not good for his career. They kind of said it subversively without saying it. He thinks the Lions are probably the more ideal fit for him if he's not going to take a head coaching job. Easy questions, laughing out loud. Silver Surfer Thomas, no matter what, they got to draft an offensive tackle. Can't go with Decker, who can't even practice, and Manu. Yes, there'll be big questions there. Thomas, this consistently going for it on fourth down early in games trend beyond ignorant. It's blatantly moronic. We do it too. Remember, want the wrench dig? We'll find out. Let's see, David. As much as I want to keep him on it, I think he'll be traded because of the salary cap. It's possible for sure. Barrow Henry, I think this was the first time I ever watched a game to just root for a team to lose. Laughing out loud, made my season just to beat the Bears twice and to watch them lose the playoffs. Hey, you got to have fun with it where you can, and I'm glad it worked out for you. Trim Reaper, dog. Until watching the Hurricanes starting left tackle Bell, 6'9", 350. Yeah, probably somebody you want to pay attention to. I don't know enough about him to have a draft grade on him, so sorry about that. Thomas, SS, I'm with you on the OT. Yes, exclamation point. I'm not losing my poo over it. Okay, I'm glad you're not losing anything on it. Mary, I got a feeling that Mike McDaniels is going to be our OC. I do too, because think about, pay attention. Scooby-Dooing other teams that have interviewed him. They've moved on to second interviews, the vast majority of them, to other candidates. I almost wonder if Mike McDaniels has kind of, said some things to him that, hey, I'm more interested in a different position, but I'll hear you out. And if I'm running another franchise and I'm that, GM or coach, I know he's interested somewhere else. I've interviewed somebody that I know is interested. I'm probably giving that second interview to that individual who is interested. Eddie, saw a report that Ben Johnson wants to come back to Detroit as the OC. It was just a rumor. Maybe it's not true. Yeah, I doubt it's true. Byron, we definitely don't need another wide receiver. Probably not. Yeah, I think we're good there. Kim, risky decisions. You win some and you lose some. Fortunately, Ben Johnson lost more than he won yesterday. Way to go. Exclamation point. Hey, give him a crown for that. Server, that Williams can scramble with the best. Darn, he might be the best in that. Yeah, he can move in the pocket. There's no doubt about it. Mary, I got Indiana tonight. Take that. Trim Reaper. Hope nor nary. All right. How you do? I think you're right, Mary. Easy. 100%. David, I have the Tiger team just didn't seem to have their equation this season pass. Yeah, I think a lot of it had to do with the Lions, offensively and defensively. Verbal Kent, the Lions' interior offensive line became a glaring weakness that defense is keyed on. Right after the Minnesota game, the first Minnesota game, I think that's what exposed the interior, I should say. Because you think about prior to the bye week, Lions actually looked very Lions-like. Then somebody found a weakness. What do all coaches do? You find a weakness, you tear that thing apart until they can make it not a weakness. Thomas, the Lions didn't lose their grit. I believe they won emotionally and physically, burnt out. The Lions' run, not making the playoffs this year, emotionally could be a long-term good thing. Yeah, could be. Easy. 30 in pass blocking too. Yes, indeed. Pierce, come on, Linderbaum. Let's see if we can get him. Kim, Lions lost some of their chemistry last year. Time to reset and let the NFL know the Lions are coming for everyone in their way. Yes, indeed. David, coaching staff changes. Could be a few. Thomas, tonight, let's make it 3 in a row. Big Ten. Hey, they might just do that. Justin, good morning, Dooku. Game time pass looked set for me. Something smells fishy. When the ball left the quarterback's hands, the defense back went forward. It looked like it was purpose. All right, it may be. It is possible. Trim, yes, I believe that too, says Thomas. Trim, remember, DDI for OC. Silver Server. Thomas, copy that. Lions burnt. Needs something new. Players and coaches. See if they can come up with something new. Trim Reaper, DDI for head trainer. How about that? Trim Reaper's laughing. Hoodoo, Broski, I heard Best Buy had a sale on TVs. I know you need a new one. Yes, he may have broken his TV watching that game. Pierce Hookadoo, love it when Broski said MCDC needs to be fired for being reckless, but when Ben does the same thing, it's okay. He's going to have to answer some questions about that for sure. I'll tell him. A lot of the Lions' grittiness came from Kirby, Joseph, Brian Branch, T.A., and Laporta, 3 Pro Bowlers, and a talented sophomore. I think you get those guys back, you're going to see the kind of the same old Lions return again as far as what we've seen the last few years in the playoffs. Thomas, the most brutal thing I've ever seen was head coach of Houston continue to trust the turnover machine at quarterback. 7 in 2 games. Truly unbelievable. Live and learn, right? Taylor, can Goff get into the playoffs? Sure, but he's not making that Caleb Williams. So, no. I mean, Caleb Williams, I love the guy to death, and I don't go into why. He may make some bad throws, but there's no question that guy can escape the pocket while keeping eyes downfield. Easy. Go Seahawks! Exclamation point. I agree. And by the way, Taylor, good to see you on the live show. I know we don't always get you on the live show. Another OG from the comment section. See, Hookadoo spins your head, doesn't it, Pierce? Probably accurate. Till the Hun. Lions have the players, but the big question is, will they recover from the injuries? We'll find out. 9 Dreams. Good morning, Duke Crew. Back at you, my friend. By the way, thanks for the text. I know I didn't get a chance to respond. All right, you got about 9 minutes left. Let me power through and get people on who haven't been on as much since I'm running out of time. Byron, the offensive line is trash now compared to last season, and we definitely need help in the backfield as far as cornerback. I agree. Eddie, I think that Jared Goff is a good quarterback, but he did a great job at keeping the Lions in the games, and I think that's some of the fan base is hard on Jared. They are, but, they want more. They're greedy. We all want the Super Bowl now, right? Rick Linderbaum, yes, let's see if we can get him. Byron, I was rooting for Matt Stafford. Well, you did a good job rooting. You got him there. Let's see, Attila, good thing that penalty on CD3 didn't hurt them. He got his first 2 INTs for the season. Better late than never. Yeah, better late than never. He waited for private time. Carry. Had you had a quarterback as accurate as Jared Goff, you would have never threw as many important picks. There's really something wrong with Caleb's eyesight. Maybe I think somebody have to test his eyesight. Trim Reaver, glad you're feeling better, Coach. I am. Thank you for that. David, turnover Sunday. CJ was horrible. Not the greatest at all. Thomas, another big mistake letting a CD3 go. Our DB talent fell off after his moving on. It wasn't quite the same. 9 Drinks. It's only 45 in Florida right now. I've heard from a lot of different people, man. It's going to get cold there. Dynasty, bye-bye Bears. You are correct. Ziggy and friends. Good morning, Captain Dan of the Duke Crew. Selling better today, and every day you're getting better sounding good. Yes, I'm feeling better and better. So thankfully it is passing. Jim, look at let's see, problem most of the quarterbacks had and telling me they're better than Goff. Probably true. Good question to ask. Roger, I just don't want MCDC calling plays. Probably not going to see it next year. He'll probably have an OC who will do it. Johnny Gas, good morning. Dan and Duke Crew, back at you, my friend. If you guys haven't already, check out Johnny Gas Sports, man. He does a really phenomenal job. Easy. LaFleur's brothers coach on the Rams. Yes, indeed. What up, Johnny Gas? Hey, Trim, says Johnny. Let's see. Rogers, Broncos are in trouble without Bo. Yes, losing your starting quarterback. Not an ideal setup. Let's see. Ian, what do you got? Lions are cooked. Secondary decimated. Possibly done. Offensive line cooked. Goff can't navigate pressure at all. Hutchin overrated. Dan Campbell made a lot of super calls. So much more. Man, that somebody so negative who's a Lions fan comes on the show the day the Bears lost. Or the day after the Bears lost, I guess. Yeah, laughing at Ian. Thomas, Broncos, terrible. What happened to next? Yeah, 100%. But they are playing at home, and their D can drop the hammer. Newsflash, no one is beating Seattle. Yeah, I'll go with that. T, what do you got? Commanders here. HTTC? I don't know what that means. Sorry, man. Let's see, Byron. Let's not forget we need help opposite odds. I agree with that. I picked I picked choice 3, getting swept by every other team in our division. I guess I don't know. I don't know what you're saying there. Let's see. Tell Gibbs, stop dancing in the end zone, never won anything. Okay, we'll tell him that. Good guy. What happened to the all-important mobile quarterbacks? A lot of mobile quarterbacks aren't playing still. How about that? Let's see. Pierce. Let's get Pierce here. The button's fixed. Remember, who knows who caused all the snow? Yes, probably DDI. I'll go with that. David, DDI did it. Probably accurate. Hookadoo. My sister and brother-in-law are leaving for Florida today to get away from the cold. Hey, well, I guess technically it is going to be warmer there than here, right? I'd say, Byron, I don't care what nobody says. Next Super Bowl, Bills versus Lions. I like the way you're thinking. Reality Mike, good morning, Duke Crew. Exclamation point. Hope you're surviving the cold blast down in Florida, my friend. Hopefully you're having a good time. Tell Lions offense is very good. The defense needs to bring back the run stop, need to attack with the safeties and linebackers like most of the other great playoff teams. Defenses also need 3T on the D-line. We'll see if we can do that. Plus the center. What up? Mike says, Trim Reaver. Dennis, let's go. I like the way you're thinking. Tell Linderbaum gets 23-25. I think that's probably going to be right. Server. Tell a good analysis. Eddie, I will be calling Sheila this week about Dave Montgomery. Hey, put in that call if you would, please. Trim Reaver smiling. JK threw up noodles, just ate it back. All right. You got to do what you got to do, I guess. What do you got? Go Rams, enough of the Bears Super Bowl. Yes, they put a stop to that Super Bowl talk. Good morning, Cynthia. Back at you both. JK, Tequila, Sunrise down. JMO, Lion King, Goff might be sloth, but he is accurate. Caleb is very tandem, but not accurate. And the NFL accuracy is king. I would think you're probably right on that. It doesn't hurt to be mobile, no doubt about it. But yes, at the end of the day, you got to put the ball on the receiver. David, have a blessed, productive day, everyone. Let's go Lions. I like the way you're thinking. Rams win a ship. They might indeed. Bo, happy trails, Duke Crew. All done and dusted for the day. See you tomorrow. We'll see you then. JK, I think Seattle wins it all. Maybe. Lions second 8 only played 4 games ago, and the only loss was game 1 to Green Bay. Win out there, win healthy. I thought they were pretty good, to your point. What can we do? That comment sure sound like a false broski account. How about that? Go Lions. We'll be back. I think you're right. CJ, let's see, Patriots versus Seahawks. It could be indeed. New England Rams. JK, let's see, Seahawks Rams. Herbert. Variable is Dan Campbell with a brain. All right. Herbert. Chicago coach is a fraud. Lions need to spend money. I think the Lions are going to spend some money. At least that's my anticipation going into this offseason. All right, guys, if there is breaking news later today, I'll get it over to you as soon as possible. Before you depart, could you be so kind? Hit the subscribe button. Hit the like button. Hit all the buttons. Take care. Enjoy the rest of your day. Be a good human being. Do something kind for some of you who don't know. And we'll see you guys all in the very next Lions Talk Live. Have a phenomenal day, everybody, but my buttons are locked up, so probably not getting anything other than this.
Excuse me, sir, would you... Donations to Reverend Moon? Jews for Jesus?
Read about Jehovah's Witness? How about Buddhism?
Jerry's kids? Oh, yeah. Scientology?
Or nuclear power?